Alright, what's up, y'all? It's Money Mitchell back with another video. Something that happened in my life reminded me of something that my brother used to tell me. I used to run track when I was young, and I was super fast, I can't lie. I couldn't promise you I could do it today, but back then I was smoking everybody. There was this one race where I smoked everybody. When I got to the end, I looked to the left to see how far everyone was behind me. And that time when I looked, I started to lose my lead, and I didn't notice this till afterwards, and my brother told me. Basically, what I learned from that story is paying attention to your competition, whether you're ahead or behind, it's only going to slow you down. You got to focus on yourself. And if I'd focused on myself, I would have kept that lead all the way through rather than giving up a little bit towards the end. There was another example that really reminded me of this recently.
You ever been to a horse race? My dad, he used to take me all the time when I was little. You know, the horses, they wear blinders. They don't even see each other. They just run their race. So don't worry about Lewis. Don't worry about the press. Just run your race.
Alright, now the clip I just showed you speaks to how important it is to have tunnel vision on your road to your objective. If the only thing you see is the objective or your goals, and that's the only thing you focus on, then you'll always reach them. But if you let yourself get distracted by what other people are doing, what your competition's up to, how everybody else is doing, then you're gonna get caught up and you're gonna lose sight of the larger objective. More importantly, on the topic of tunnel vision, it's important to stay focused. I'm a person who finds it quite difficult. I very much try different things and see what works and never really stop experimenting with new avenues to make money. But the best way to do it is to just find one way that works and stick to that way and really do it till it breaks. All the times that I've made large amounts of money in short amounts of time, or large amounts of money over long amounts of time, it's been when I stick to one method, focus on only that method, focus on only making that money from that avenue, and everything else goes on the back burner. That's the way I think y'all should do it. I think y'all should definitely find one thing that works and stick to it. The way they said it in the clip was, don't pay attention to what anyone else is doing, just run your race. That's a perfect way to put it, in my opinion. Just run your race. I mean, you and the next person aren't even running the same race. So why are you paying attention to how they're doing or what they just signed for, the deal that they just made? Why are you paying attention to that when you could think about the next deal you're going to make, what you're going to sign for? Everybody else is too busy focusing on what the winners are doing or looking down and seeing what the people behind them are doing so they could feel good about themselves. But if they just focus on themselves, had tunnel vision, and focus on running their own race, they'll be at the front of the pack. And not even that matters, because it's just an everyday battle against yourself. You right now versus the you in the mirror to become the you that you want to become. And if you just make it a battle between yourself to win every day, every single day, you're going to get to that point where you're where you want to be. And winning every day is going to get 10 times easier. The more it snowballs, the more you practice those right habits, the more you focus on what's really important and stop paying attention to everything that's on your phone. Stop paying attention to everything going on in the world. Stop paying attention to everything that's there to slow you down. And don't get me wrong, it's fun to do little side quests and explore new things that you find on the way, but don't let yourself get consumed by those new ideas. Don't get caught up in thinking about what's going on with the parties or what's going on outside. Take the time to yourself, man, and just do something meaningful. Do what you want to do. And don't focus on what anybody else has to say about what you want to do or what you're doing. Just focus on what you want to do and doing it, and you'll never fall short of your goals. I'm a person who wants to accomplish everything, but you can't accomplish everything at once. So this is something I've really been working on, is just having tunnel vision and focusing specifically on which goal I'm trying to accomplish right now and what I want to acquire right now. I used to think about everything all at the same time and think, if I focus on everything every day, then I'm going to have everything in X amount of time, but it's not how it goes. How it really goes is you focus on one thing and work on it until the output you get goes from a straight line to exponential growth. Once it gets to exponential growth, then you'll have the ability to put it in autopilot and just let it do its own thing. But until you get to that point, it's important to grind and focus specifically on that avenue and make sure you do everything that you got to do every day to make it have success. This is specifically having to do with business, but it goes for everything you do in life. Anything you want to put your time into, man, you got to be focused. Number one, you got to stay focused, and focus specifically, because you could be focused on 4 different things at a time, but you're splitting your focus. It's like my friend says, if you're putting your focus in 4 different places, it's like you're pouring water. You can have 1 cup that's overfilling. And like I said, you get exponential output, or you can have 4 that are a quarter full. And that's something I want y'all to think about a little bit. There's no right way to do anything, but there are the ways that work, and it seems simple because it's what everybody does, but there's a reason everybody does it. Like, you don't see barbers, aside from Vic Blends, you don't see barbers that are also entrepreneurs. You see barbers that cut hair. You see CEOs that are CEOs of one company. You feel me? You see successful businessmen where most of them are successful off of one company. And when they start to get 2 companies, 3 companies, 4 companies, they start to fall behind. Nothing beats intense focus on one avenue. So if you have one thing that's working for you right now, or one thing that's almost working, one thing that's at the point where it feels like it's about to start working, I want you to focus on that until it works, until you start getting those exponential outputs. Another time when I made this mistake was when I was having lots of success with my business over the summer, and essentially what happened was I got caught up in everybody I saw on Instagram who had a Miri, who had the big chunky Lambus shoes. And I was like, how am I going to get like that? And I started going to Bloomingdale's every day, trying to think, how could I make an outfit like that? How could I like walk into a room and have on every designer piece on my body? And then eventually I had every designer piece I wanted. I was the same person, you know what I mean? And maybe, sure, I walked into a room and people treated me differently, but I was the same person at the end of the day. I had the same output. It didn't make my business any more successful. It didn't make me feel any better. It was just a waste of time, waste of energy, waste of space. Now I just have it in my closet and rarely wear it. That's something I think about now. If I just wasn't focused on trying to look like everybody else, trying to have what everybody else has, I would be in a much better position right now. But you got to make the right chess moves and be able to acknowledge when you made the wrong one. And when it comes to anything in life, focusing on what other people are up to, focusing on the success or failures of other people is the wrong chess move. And it's going to cause you to lose every single time. But when you really focus on yourself and just try to beat the person in the mirror every day, there will never be a day you don't win. And if you win every day for a year, you'll be a completely different person. That was the promise I made to myself last year, or this year actually, at the beginning of the year. January 1st, I told myself, I'm going to change my life this year. And I did, really. In a way that it'll never be the same. There's nothing that could stop you, and there's nothing that could affect you if you're only worried about yourself. You're not worried about what anybody else thinks. You're not worried about what anybody else says. You're not worried about how that girl feels because you're just doing what you want to do. You're not worried about how your people feel because you're just doing what you want to do. You're not worried about what the comments say because you're just doing what you want to do. And that's the secret to not caring, but that's for another video. It's all in the same vein. Not worrying about your competition, worrying about yourself, and not caring what the spectators got to say. Why would you focus on your competition while the game's going on if you could just focus on yourself and doing everything right the whole time? And then you'll probably end up winning. A lot of what holds people back is they're too focused on Instagram and what this dude's doing and trying to keep up with somebody else's lifestyle maybe, or trying to put on a facade because they see that around them. But if they just focus on being themselves, then they would attract people naturally. They would attract the things that they want in life naturally, rather than worrying about what's this person's life attracting, what's this person's life attracting. Because I got some more game for y'all. You want to ruin something special? Compare it to something else. Because man, I got 300 subscribers, bro, and thank you guys. I'm extremely grateful. But if you compare my channel to someone like Nelk, 300 subscribers looks like nothing. The minute you do that, you downplay your own success, make it seem like there's an impossibly long way to go. When I could just think about it like, I had 0 subscribers last week, and now I have 300, like that's pretty good. That's gonna save you a lot of stressing. That's just gonna make your life a lot happier. If you don't set your expectations sky high or compare your results to anyone else's, you're only fighting against yourself every day. You're only competing against yourself every day. And all the greatest athletes, all the greatest musicians never considered what the competition was doing when it came to working on themselves or working on what they wanted to do. They focused on what they wanted to accomplish. Worrying about what somebody else is doing is going to be your downfall 10 times out of 10. And I can't stress that enough. If you could just worry about yourself instead and focus on what you're doing and focusing on how to do that the biggest, rather than looking around at who's doing it bigger than you, just make your own way. Because we're all figuring it out here. Most people are focused on what everybody else is doing. Why do you think Instagram's so big? Why do you think Snapchat's so big? Why do you think TikTok's so big? The reason those platforms work is because everybody's focusing on what everybody else is doing. Everybody else is doing stuff profits from it nonstop. And if you could position yourself in the everybody else that's doing stuff, you're in position for the money. And like I said, don't worry about what nobody's got to say. Don't worry about what nobody else is doing. It's all about you. Implement that in your life every day. Just win. Just win every day. It's one day at a time. You win every day, you're going to win the week. You win every week, you're going to win the month. You win every month, you change your life. Just consider everything I said. Let me know what you think I could have added. What do you think I missed? And what y'all gained from it. Let me know, man. I like to hear it. Y'all have a good one.